Okay, we're going to try and do something impossible, or at least very difficult. I'm going to try and get through the entire water cycle in less than 3 minutes. So I'm going to talk really, really fast and get through the entire cycle. Let's begin. 3 things I want you to know about the water cycle by the end of this video are: number 1, does water ever disappear? 2, what is the path of the water cycle and how long does water spend in each phase? And 3, what is the difference between transpiration and evaporation? Number 1. Okay, so does water ever disappear? Well, from our knowledge of the first law of thermodynamics, we know that energy is never created or destroyed. From this fact, we can infer that matter, while being capable of broken down into smaller and smaller parts, is never destroyed. So while nature is capable of breaking down water into its integral parts, hydrogen and oxygen, it can never make those pieces simply disappear. We gotta keep moving on, we're running out of time. So now we're gonna go over what actually happens in the water cycle. Phase 1. Our water molecule begins as a cloud as water vapor, but it spends on average 8 days here. Phase 2. Our water molecule condenses into a drop of water. Because of the temperature at that high altitude, it begins its journey as a snowflake. Phase 3. As our snowflake gets closer to the ground, it melts into water, which hits the ground as rain. Phase 4. Our raindrop now seeps, or rather infiltrates through the ground and enters the groundwater system. Phase 5. Now our water molecule slowly, ever so slowly, works its way through the groundwater system. As the water molecule works its way, it gets closer and closer to the ocean, where all groundwater leads. If the water molecule enters only the shallow groundwater system, it spends on average 100 to 200 years. If it enters the deep groundwater system, it could spend up to 10,000 years. Phase 6. Here, our lowly water molecule enters the great vastness of the ocean. It spends a lot of time here, around 3,000 years. But eventually, as all water molecules do, it evaporates from the ocean back into the atmosphere as water vapor, and completes the cycle. We're almost out of time, but thankfully there's only one thing left. 2 ideas that are often confused are the concepts of evaporation and transpiration. Many people believe they mean the same thing. Let's see what happens when we put an equal sign between them. Okay, glad we got that clear. Transpiration is very different from evaporation. Evaporation, as we know, is when water goes from a liquid to a gas form, a physical process. For example, when water from the ocean evaporates into the atmosphere. Transpiration, on the other hand, is a biological process through which plant loses their water supply to the surrounding environment. The water is released as water vapor by the plants through their leaves. Then the water vapor goes into the atmosphere. While it does sound similar to evaporation, evaporation is a physical process, while transpiration is a biological process. So while these 2 processes are linked, they are by no means the same thing.